All right, let's dive right into Premier League Matchday 24. And wow, this was a wild one. We're talking some serious upsets, some blowouts, just a ton of drama.
Yeah, definitely not your average weekend of football.
hmm
This match day really shook things up. The league table is looking a lot different, and it's anyone's guess what's going to happen next.
Yeah, predictions are out the window.
Yeah.
But let's start with what has to be the biggest surprise. Nottingham Forest absolutely crushing Brighton. 7-0.
7-0, their biggest win since, get this, 1997. Brighton have been playing so well, and Forest just completely shut them down.
What happened there? I mean, Brighton usually control the game, but Forest.
Tactics, really. Forest went with this 3-5-2 formation, and it totally neutralized Brighton's attack. Those wingbacks for Forest, they were doubling up on Brighton's wingers, so no crosses into the box. Brighton, they just couldn't figure out Forest's defense.
And on top of that, Chris Wood gets a hat trick.
He was on fire, that's for sure. Clinical finishing. But this win, it's massive for Forest. They're in the top 4 now, which is unbelievable for a team that a lot of people thought would be fighting relegation.
Total turnaround. Talk about flipping the script. Okay, another match that had everyone buzzing. Fulham coming back to beat Newcastle.
Oh, yeah. Newcastle have been right up there pushing for that top spot all season, and Fulham really threw a wrench in their plans.
Definitely a tale of two halves there.
First half, Newcastle were all over them. But then Fulham's manager, he made some adjustments at halftime, and it worked.
I was wondering about those subs, especially bringing on Rodrigo Muniz.
Bringing on Muniz was a brilliant move. Newcastle's defense had been dealing well with Fulham's passing, but Muniz is a different kind of threat.
More physical presence, right?
Exactly. He can win those aerial battles, hold the ball up, give Fulham a chance to breathe, and build their attack.
Really smart move. It's crazy how one sub can completely change a match. All right, let's hit some other big results. Liverpool took care of business against Bournemouth. Mo Salah with another 2 goals to his name.
He's a goal-scoring machine, isn't he? This win keeps Liverpool right where they want to be, at the top.
But I bet it wasn't easy. Bournemouth have been playing well lately.
It wasn't a walk in the park, that's for sure. Bournemouth had their moments, even hit the post once. But Liverpool's defense held strong. They've got this resilience about them, even when things aren't going perfectly. Like when they lost Trent Alexander-Arnold to injury.
They always seem to find a way. Speaking of finding a way, Southampton finally broke their losing streak, beating Ipswich 2-1.
Huge win for Southampton. Huge for their fight against relegation. It was a must-win, and they delivered. Showed some serious tactical discipline, especially considering they actually had less possession than Ipswich.
So even though Ipswich controlled the ball more, Southampton.
They made the most of their chances. Their counterattacks were spot on. And you can't ignore those errors from Ipswich's keeper, Aro Muric. Those mistakes really gifted Southampton those goals.
Yeah, keeper errors can be killer. Tough for Ipswich, but a big boost for Southampton. All right, let's talk about Everton. They put on a show against Leicester City, winning 4-0.
Dominant performance, start to finish, and that opening goal. Wow. Abdoulaye Doucouré, 10 seconds into the match, fastest goal of the season.
Talk about setting the tone. I bet Leicester was reeling after that.
They never really recovered, but Everton didn't let up. Their high pressing was relentless. Leicester only managed 1 shot on target the entire match.
It completely shut them down.
They did. Huge implications for both teams. Everton are comfortably clear of the relegation zone now, and Leicester, well, they're in real danger of going down.
Football, eh? 1 week you're flying high. Next week you're looking over your shoulder. And speaking of teams fighting to stay up, Wolves got a massive win against Aston Villa. 2-0. They're out of the relegation zone, for now at least.
Wolves were all over Villa from the start. Breast high, forced turnovers, created chance after chance. Villa just couldn't find any rhythm.
And then losing their main striker, Ollie Watkins, at halftime.
That was a huge blow for Villa. Watkins is their key man up front, and without him, they just couldn't get anything going. But even before the injury, Villa were struggling. Wolves just rattled them.
So many unexpected results. This has to be one of the most unpredictable match days we've seen in a while. Ready for some even bigger surprises.
Bring them on. I mean, this match day has been full of them already, so I wouldn't rule anything out at this point.
Well, then buckle up, because this next result is a shocker. Crystal Palace beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. 2-0. No fluke, a convincing win.
Yeah, this one raised some eyebrows, that's for sure. Manchester United's defense has been shaky lately, and their attack isn't what it used to be. And then losing Lisandro Martinez to a knee injury during the match.
That was a tough one to see. Martinez has been so solid for them.
He's been a rock at the back, and his leadership was definitely missed. But you got to give credit to Crystal Palace. They were organized, disciplined, and they took their chances.
Shows you that in the Premier League, anything can happen. No team is safe.
All right, what other surprises did this match day throw at us?
Well, Tottenham finally broke their winless streak, beating Brentford 2-0. Not the prettiest performance, but they'll take the points.
Sometimes you just need to grind out a result, right?
Mm.
Especially when you're in a slump. So was it a defensive battle, or did Tottenham finally find their attacking spark again?
A little bit of both, I'd say. Brentford actually had more possession, created more chances even, but Tottenham's defense held up. They got a lucky break with an own goal from Vitaly Janelt to take the lead, and then Pape Sarr sealed the deal with a late goal. Not their best performance by any means, but they showed resilience, and most importantly, they got the win. Every point counts, especially when you're trying to climb the table. Okay, now for the match I think everyone's waiting for. Arsenal versus Manchester City. And wow, what a performance by Arsenal. They dismantled City 5-1.
Statement win. No doubt about it. Arsenal's high pressing and quick transitions just overwhelmed Manchester City, and the fact that they had 5 different goal scorers, including those teenagers, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri.
I was so impressed by those young guys. Fearless, so much confidence. But Manchester City, they're not an easy team to beat. Did they just have an off day, or did Arsenal do something special to neutralize them?
Arsenal were brilliant. Organized, aggressive, clinical. Their pressing was relentless. They didn't give City any time or space to breathe. Haaland did manage to equalize for City early on, but it felt like that goal just fired Arsenal up even more. They took control and never looked back.
The kind of performance that sends a message to the rest of the league. Arsenal are here to stay, and they're contenders for the title. All right, one more match to cover. Chelsea pulled off a come-from-behind win against West Ham, 2-1.
Hard-fought victory for Chelsea. West Ham actually took the lead just before halftime, but Chelsea came out in the second half with a different energy and managed to turn things around. Goals from Pedro Neto and then an own goal by Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
So many comebacks this match day. Seems like every team was fighting until the final whistle. What was the key to Chelsea's turnaround, do you think? Tactics? Individual brilliance? Or just pure willpower?
A bit of everything, probably. Tactically, they made some adjustments at halftime, pushed their fullbacks higher up the pitch, put more pressure on West Ham's defense. But also, the players showed a lot of character. They didn't let that first half goal get them down. They came out fighting in the second half. That's the mark of a champion right there. This one was huge for Chelsea, keeps them right up there in the top 4.
Well, what a match day, huh? It feels like the whole Premier League has been flipped upside down.
Totally agree. All the predictions out the window. This sets us up for an incredible finish to the season. The title race is wide open, the battle for those top 4 spots is more intense than ever, and the relegation fight is going to be a nail-biter.
I don't think I've ever seen a season with this much drama and uncertainty. Let's take a deeper look at what these results mean for the league table, the title race, and that battle to avoid relegation.
Well, starting at the top, Nottingham Forest's win against Brighton has really mixed things up in that race for a Champions League spot.
Yeah, I got to say, I did not see Forest in the top 4 at this point in the season. It's a real underdog story.
It is, and this win shows they're not a fluke, they're organized, they've got a good tactical plan, and they can hang with the best in the league. Their manager's done a fantastic job.
But what about Brighton? They've been so consistent, but this loss, it makes you wonder if they can handle the pressure when it really matters.
It's too soon to write them off, though. They're still a really talented team with a clear style of play, but they definitely need to work on their defense, especially against those teams that are more physical, like Forest.
And speaking of pressure, Fulham's win over Newcastle has made that top 4 race even tighter. Newcastle's been looking strong, but this loss is a bit of a blow.
Yeah, you can't underestimate anyone in this league. Fulham played smart. They were patient, disciplined, and they took their chances. Bringing on Rodrigo Muniz in the second half, that was a game changer.
He really did change things up front for them.
He gave them a target, someone to hold the ball up, and that caused Newcastle's defense a lot of problems.
Newcastle's manager has to be thinking, what if? But let's switch gears to the other end of the table. Southampton's win against Ipswich, that was a huge relief for them.
Absolutely vital for their survival. They needed that win, and they got it. Showed real character, determination. They were definitely the more organized team, and even though they had less of the ball, they made their opportunities count.
It's amazing how one win can change the outlook for a team. But what about Ipswich? They have to be feeling the heat now.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot. Those defensive mistakes are costing them. If they want to stay up, they got to tighten things up at the back.
No room for error down there. Every point is crucial. And Everton's win against Leicester, that's got to be a huge confidence booster for them.
Oh, yeah, that performance showed what they can do when they're clicking. Their high pressing was suffocating, and Leicester just couldn't handle it. A real statement from Everton. They're not going down without a fight.
That early goal from Ducour, that must have given them a massive lift.
No doubt. You could see the belief start to flow through the team after that. They played with a swagger, an intensity we haven't seen from them in a while. Huge win, but they need to build on it if they want to get clear of danger.
And Leicester, they're really struggling now. This loss puts them even deeper in the relegation battle.
They look like a team that's lost its confidence. Mistakes, sloppy passing, no real attacking plan. Their manager has his work cut out for him.
Wolves getting out of the relegation zone with that win over Aston Villa, that's another reminder of how quickly things can change in this league.
One win can make all the difference. Wolves were hungrier, they played with urgency, and they deserve to win that match.
Villa just haven't found any consistency this season. Up one week, down the next.
Losing Watkins to injury was a big factor in that match. He's such a crucial part of their attack. But even before that, they didn't look like they had the answers against Wolves.
It's going to be interesting to see who can pull themselves out of that relegation scrap. But let's move on to some other big results. Crystal Palace beating Manchester United at Old Trafford. That was a massive upset.
Didn't see that one coming. Manchester United's defense has been a problem, and Palace exposed those weaknesses. They were disciplined, organized, and took their chances well.
Really impressive performance from Palace, especially considering they were missing some key players. What does this mean for Manchester United's top four hopes?
It's a setback for sure. They've been inconsistent all season, and this just highlights their defensive issues. If they want a Champions League spot, they got to fix that defense.
And losing Martinez to injury doesn't help.
He's been one of their best players this season. They'll miss his composure and leadership at the back.
Sounds like that top four race is going to be a real photo finish. But what about Tottenham? They ended their winless streak, but it wasn't exactly convincing.
Yeah, they were lucky to get that 2-0 win against Brentford. Brentford had more of the ball, created more chances, but Tottenham defended well, and that own goal definitely helped them out. Sometimes you just need a little bit of luck to get things going again.
They're still searching for their best form. But a win's a win, right?
Exactly. Sometimes that's all it takes to get the confidence back.
Okay, let's talk about the big one. Arsenal's 5-1 demolition of Manchester City. What a performance. They sent a message to everyone. They are serious title contenders.
It was a tactical masterclass. Their high pressing, those quick transitions, City just couldn't cope. And 5 different goal scorers. That shows you the depth and quality they have in their squad.
Those young players were phenomenal. Lewis Skelly, Domeri, playing with so much confidence.
They're the future of Arsenal, and they showed why people are so excited about them. But it wasn't just the youngsters. The whole team played with a hunger and desire that was inspiring.
Manchester City just didn't have an answer for them.
Nope. Arsenal disrupted their rhythm, stopped them from playing their usual passing game, completely dominant.
Now the title race is wide open.
Absolutely. Arsenal are here to stay, and they're a real threat to Liverpool at the top.
This win gives them a huge boost and puts the pressure on Liverpool. Okay, let's wrap up with Chelsea's 2-1 win over West Ham.
Another game of two halves. West Ham took the lead, but Chelsea showed their class by coming back to win.
Seems like comebacks were the theme of the day. So many teams refusing to give up.
That's what's great about the Premier League. The competition is so fierce, nobody can afford to relax.
This win was important for Chelsea. Keeps them in that top 4 battle. No doubt. They needed those 3 points to keep pace.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here. This match day was one for the history books. So many surprises, so much drama, so much to think about going forward. It's like the Premier League landscape has completely shifted. Did anyone see any of this coming?
I know, right? That's what I love about this league, though. Just when you think you know what's going to happen, everything changes. It just shows that no team is untouchable. Anyone can beat anyone.
Keeps things interesting, that's for sure. But looking ahead now, what are you going to be watching for in the next few weeks?
Tactics are going to be huge. I guarantee managers are studying these results, looking for weaknesses, trying to figure out how to get an advantage.
Like we saw with Nottingham Forest's formation against Brighton or Fulham's substitutions against Newcastle. I think we'll see more teams experimenting like that.
Absolutely. Adaptability is key in this league. The managers who can change their game plan to exploit those weaknesses, they're the ones who'll come out on top. And you can't forget about injuries either. Losing key players like Trent Alexander-Arnold or Lisandro Martinez, That definitely had an impact.
Yeah, injuries are part of the game, but they can really change things. The teams with the strongest squads, the ones that can adjust when someone goes down, they'll have the edge.
It's like a chess match almost. Every move matters, and you always have to be thinking ahead.
That's a great way to put it. And the mental side of things is important too. The teams that can handle the pressure, stay focused, and bounce back from setbacks, they'll be the ones left standing at the end.
This match day was a good reminder. The Premier League's a marathon, not a sprint. Ups and downs, twists and turns all along the way. It's those teams that can stay consistent, keep their cool, and roll with the punches that'll come out on top.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's what makes it so exciting to watch. You never know what's going to happen next. Every match could be a classic. We saw amazing goals, crazy upsets, moments of brilliance that people will be talking about for years.
It's been a blast breaking down all this action with you. It feels like we have more questions than answers now, but that's a good thing, right? Keeps the excitement going.
Exactly. The Premier League is a story that just keeps going. And we get to be a part of it, experience all the ups and downs, the amazing moments, the heartbreak.
This deep dive, well, it's been a wild ride. So many tactical insights, dramatic finishes, and, of course, lots of guessing about what's coming next. But what about you? What stood out to you this match day? What surprised you? What are your predictions for the rest of the season? Let us know.
And until next time, keep the love for the beautiful game alive.